Check it.
Yeah.
What's happening, folks? Happy Wednesday. Good to see ya.
Hump day.
Glad to have you guys on board. Happy Wednesday. Man, you feeling better now that this weather's getting nice?
Dude, it's about time, bro.
About time.
Whole fucking winter bullshit.
Cold Chicago winter. Now we're upon springtime now.
Finally.
I just found out a cool thing the other day that there's about over 1 million birds that are about to migrate through Chicago and then head up to Canada. They said like 230 different species, but it's a really nasty thing because they all run into the buildings in Chicago's skyline.
Really?
Yeah, they say
That
all the new
sucks.
buildings are so shiny that they just get beamed.
That's terrible.
Yeah, so they're warning everybody, for all of our feathered friends out there. They say close your blinds, keep your lights off at night. That way they can see and they won't run into you. Save the birds.
Save the birds.
Right here from Hawk Winds. Welcome to the show, you guys. This is Hawk Winds Radio Picture Show, where we'll come to you live every Wednesday night right here at the beautiful Q4 radio station. As always, my name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
Now, for those of you guys just joining us for the very, very first time, welcome aboard. Welcome to Hawk Winds. If you guys enjoy the show, please hit subscribe. Please share it with a friend. Check out some of our other episodes as well. We have a ton of episodes from musicians to actors to filmmakers to puppeteers. We have a lot of artists on board, artists of all mediums. So if you like art, if you like Chicago art, definitely check out our channel. We have a lot of really cool stuff. And check us out on all social media platforms.
Oh, yeah.
So Jay Smooth, what's up with you, brother? What's new with you?
Oh, not much, man. Just same old. But I know you have an exciting weekend happening.
I do. It's my baby brother's birthday, or not his birthday. His birthday was last month. It's my baby brother's wedding. So Neil and Sam,
shit.
congratulations.
Congrats.
We're so excited. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was telling you earlier, I feel like such a schmuck for going into Men's Warehouse all the time and like renting suits, because I've had to rent so many for friends' weddings just in the past year or two that I could have probably bought fucking 3 suits already had I just bought the suit instead of renting it all the time.
Yeah.
But they say they're going to guarantee you're going to like the way you look. They guarantee it, but I don't
Did you
know.
like the way you looked?
I loved it. I loved the way I looked.
How often do you wear a suit?
Oh, as much as I can. Do you see this right here? My big thing is I'm a big thrifter. I love thrift store jackets. Anything that screams like used car salesman from Ohio, I love it. If the original owner is now dead, I want it. It's vintage. It's cool. It's edgy.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little fun, you know? How about you, brother? You like suiting up?
Every once in a while. I like to, I don't get too many chances to do it, but whenever I do get a chance, I try to go all out,
Show up in style, baby.
I currently don't own any suits yet, but I plan on it at some point.
Brother, hit the thrift store.
Why not?
Go to a Men's Warehouse type deal. Say you're interested in getting a suit. They'll measure you and everything. They'll check up your inseam and down your throat and cut your balls. And no, afterwards, just take that list and then just go to like the thrift shop. That's what I do. I'll find my suit size and then rummage through there. And that's where you go with the nifty shit.
Pro tip, huh?
Pro. Well, I don't know about pro tip. I don't know about pro. We'll see.
Shit.
But speaking of pros, today on the
Just-
show, we've got a pro wrestler.
Oh, shit.
That's right. Everybody, please welcome to the show the one, the only, Axel. Rico.
What an introduction. Holy crap. I thought there was a snake or maybe a Slytherin house representative in his house. But yes, my name is Axel Rico. And
Yes.
I am a professional wrestler in the Chicagoland scene. And I'm a good guy and I'm a bad guy. I'm everything. I'm a little bit of a mixed bag. But welcome to the show and thank you. And before we get started, I got stuff for you guys.
Oh.
Merch.
Big
like
fan
stuff.
of buttons and stickers.
Hell yeah.
Sweet.
So I'm a big fan, and I'm also a nerd. So like, it's me as a Power Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You want to
All
hold it up to the
yours.
camera?
Oh sure. Yeah.
hold it up
right
to the
here.
camera. Let's see.
Boom.
You can hold it up.
Da da da
A
da.
little close.
Da 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 da.
There you
Boom.
go.
Coming up,
Sweet.
and soon to be shirts as well.
go. Ooh.
But I thought I'd give you guys just like something that you can keep on your desk, keep it
Aw.
at home. You could even button it onto that little suit that you got on there.
I'm going to. I'm most certainly going to right now, sir.
Yeah.
Axel Rico, what a cool name. Is that your actual name, or how did you come up with
Well,
the name Axel
my
Rico?
name is Axel. and I am born and raised in the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. I was born there, and then I came to Illinois when I was about first grade. My mom was like, "Yo, come see all 4 seasons in one day."
Oh shit.
Like the story she always tells people is that when we came in, it was December. I'd never seen snow before. I went from living in Puerto Rico, which is almost the equator, to Texas, where there's ice,
Oh,
that you
shit.
can make for sick drinks, but it doesn't come down from the sky. That I was just panicking in the airport and freaking out like a
Really?
Twilight episode. Like people like, guys, aren't you all get out of the cab? The sky is falling. And then I've been here and bounced between Puerto Rico and stuff since. And I've been in Illinois, Chicago, guys, for over 20 years now. So this is my home. I don't know where life's gonna take me, but I know, I think Chicago might be like however, like maybe when I'm like 65 or, eventually gonna retire, probably come back here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good spot to be, right? You got a
Yeah.
little bit of everything.
Literally.
What's your take on the Chicago wrestling scene at the moment?
So I am a big fan of just like I've been a fan since like one of my first things was seeing it on a VHS tape. Whoa.
Hell yeah.
Tells my
What are
age.
those
Well,
things?
yeah. Look at it. Whoa, how do I? No, but yeah. So I've been a fan since watching it on like WCW like VHS tapes. But I'm a big fan of making like the more the merrier, right? Because I think competition just makes more things interesting. So like I always think like the more like promotions and all that, like I'd love to have a Chicago style wrestling versus a freelance pro wrestling versus you know what I mean, like versus the world,
Right.
where I think that would be like money. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, I heard they hate each other. Yeah, we hate each other. We don't all hang out. You know what I mean? But I think so. The more the merrier. I love how much like you can in Chicago. Oh man, I have to choose between 3. That's awesome to me. Because that just means like, I'm closer to this. This is why I'm going to go. Or, I have a couple friends that are in the burbs that don't have the chance to always come to Chicago. There's also like POW Pro Wrestling, POW Entertainment that's up there in the northern burbs. There's the western burbs. Chicago style wrestling is like near like the Villa Park area. Then there's also Lucha Libre, So there's like a thing for everybody, and there's so much for every single weekend, but they're not always running at the same time, where it's like
That's good.
every single weekend there's at least something wrestling, which I think is awesome, because not only are all of us part of a lot of different shows, but then you see it's like, I'm going to go see the Bang Bros at Freelance. I'm going to go see these guys at AAW, so I think it's just cool. And I love the more promotions, the better. And, but of course, always see me. That's the big takeaway. Wherever
That's the
Axel
main
Rico
event.
is, you go to that show. But then, okay, and on a Sunday I'll also go to this show and whatever. But yeah, so I love all, the more the merrier. More the merrier.
No, I think that's really interesting. You say the more the merrier. A lot of folks will feel like, oh man, like this guy's coming in. He's going to be competition for me now. Sure. And I was hoping maybe you can talk a little bit about what is that like when you have so many people coming into wrestling? Do you guys really practice off each other more? And like, when somebody does a crazy move, does that inspire everybody else? And do you guys help train each other? How do you guys help flourish each other within the community?
Well, when it comes to like wrestling as a whole, it's a performance. So like no matter what, you want the best out of yourself. You want the best out of your opponent. You want the best out of the show that you're in, because if you go into something and it's like, wow, this is just this show. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, or at least that's how I see it. It's like, I don't want to be part of something where I'm already in the attitude of like, it's just that show. You know what I mean? So I always take 100%. Like if I'm wrestling a broomstick, all right, so what has the broomstick been around? Are you guys used to the broomstick? Like what is I always try to like work my strengths, but also help put together like the best that it can be. So like if I don't know a person that I'm wrestling, or they're coming in for the first time and it's like a hot like just like your example, whatever, just I like to get informed. What's the thing? Make the stick, work the shtick, and then work my shtick with the shtick so that it can be the best. And then they brought it in because also these promoters are just, some of them are just people. You know, they put together whatever they got from taxes and put together a show, right? Or, you know, whatever. But, you know, it's their dime on here as well. And they reached out just like any contract work and was like, I think this and this could, you know, work out. And if it doesn't, whatever, but at least that's what I am paying them to do. So why would I not do my job? I hope that answers your question, you know, but I always think it's just whatever's best. The second I'm there, I've clocked in. So I'm looking to do the best thing that I can. May it be, you know, this show. We've had a bazillion luchadors. We've had a bazillion big men slapping each other. We need you to be the funny guy. Can do that. It's like here we got all just Rey Mysterio, clean shaven baby faces. We need a piece of shit. Okay, I got you. It's like here everyone didn't show up. We need you to be athletic and we need you to go 20 minutes. Got you. All those stories have been my reality. But it really just depends, you know, like I know there's like competition and of course, you know, the highs and lows of any industry when it comes to performance, you know, like you have the, you know, why do bands go out? They have to write a new album and get back into the picture. You know, that's just how I see it. You know, there's the ebb and flows of everything, but you know, someone booked me for a reason. I'm going to show up and give it my best. May it be somebody and, there's one of my best friend wrestlers named Eric Schultz. He is like a 4 a.m. like lawyer character who's amazing. You should look him up. And he says his finishing move is to look up at the lights. But why he gets brought back every single, like even though like he tells himself like, oh my God, I'm losing so much or whatever, but I keep being brought back, and he keeps being brought back for a reason. And you know, I am honored to say that I get booked almost every single weekend, or at least one show. I think I looked at my calendar. I've had 2 open weekends since the year started.
Oh, yeah.
Of some sort of varieties. Like may it just be like a Sunday, sometimes a Thursday through Sunday, Saturday, you know, Friday. But I looked at it and was like, you know, looking back, that's something to be, you know, tip off the cap, you know, saying that at least I'm doing something right. And I've got a couple championship belts to prove it as well.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. What kind of belts are you in possession of?
So as of right now, there are 2, one is for a Lucha Libre company. So it's El Campeonato Mundial de Gali, which means the Gali World Champion. Best in the world. And then at One Fall Entertainment, I am their heavyweight champion. So that Gali is just originated from Villa Park. They've been around since about 2014, and I've been with them since 2019, and I am their top guy, and I beat, his name was Aramis. He goes by Hologram now, he goes whatever, and he's now in AEW, which is super cool.
Oh yeah.
Great luchador, great athlete, and then a guy named Mecha Wolf, who right now works with AAA. He's done TNAs. He used to be called 450, just to fill you guys in. And that was a great moment for me because Galley's like my homegrown Lucha Libre company in town. So they meant the world that I got to be like right now I'm their top guy, or I looked at as their top guy.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Do you remember like the first time you held like won a championship belt, and like what was going on through your brain when that happened?
Well, I consider my first real championship was when I got at Chicago Style, when I became their heavyweight champion for the first time. That wasn't my first belt though, but it was my first moment where I was like, this means something, because at this one promotion, God bless his soul, Jimmy Smooth, he was this referee turned promoter guy. He passed away, but he gave me my like first matches in front of people, and gave a lot of those like guys and a lot of people he trusted who were kind of like losers and whatever. But he gave me my first opportunity, so I'm always going to be, you know, I always cherish him. But he just had a show where pretty much every single match was for a championship belt. And I realized at the time that he didn't know when the next show was. So like I did this crazy scramble where there were like 6 dudes, and it was a gauntlet. And this guy went in, he was the champ, lost in 2 seconds. Then there was a 10-minute match between the two. I was the last person in, and I was young as can be and didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was outside, and I tried to run in. There was like shit on the ground. You know what I mean? Like, it was that type of show, and I like tried to avoid it. You see me like slip. I go in there and I just win a belt, but it didn't mean anything. And it was like, you know, I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, this is my first championship, but you know, why doesn't it feel like that? But when I first won the CSW heavyweight, we had like a storyline for it. Like, the fans were there because they'd seen me grow from like a young buck to like, whoa, you know, he was just like doing the pre-show matches, the rumbles and stuff, and then look at him, he did it. He beat the big kahuna, which was Joey Jet Avalon, who is one of my favorite wrestlers to ever watch, be a part of, and right now I think like he's my like one of my favorites. Like, not like, you know, like the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, but like just like that I could see him wrestle anybody. But that one meant the most to me because it was just like I did it and I had the crowd and like everybody came in. It felt like that moment, you know, where you see like I'm going to Disneyland, you know, we won the big one. Like
Finally,
that one felt like the big kahuna, even though like it's 10 pounds of metal, you know, but it's all about how you treat it and make that story worth everything that you've done for. So that moment that one got me.
Oh, yeah. Did you celebrate afterwards? You go out? How do you
it's so funny
decompress after that?
At Chicago Style Wrestling, my fiance, which I'm getting married very soon.
Hey,
Ooh,
congratulations.
congrats, dude.
Thanks.
Love is in the air, no?
Yeah, love is in the air. Yeah, and right now I want to rip my hair out and just get married already. But we always have like a tradition that, you know, small to fill you guys in. I shattered my clavicle during a wrestling match, and rehabbing it and all that, I found out I had a vitamin D deficiency. So like I've been needing like high protein, like when the bone wouldn't come back, so I had to like take these vitamin D tablets and kind of eat healthy, high protein diets, a lot of water, and I've kind of been like not eating as much fast food, and Diet Coke is huge, not regular. You know, I've been kind of having to adjust my diet. But every time at CSW, Lauren, my fiance, will be like, let's go to Taco Bell. And that'll be like our month, like, you deserve it type thing. So what did I do? Went to Taco Bell. Like, shook hands with everybody because since 2022, I'm celebrating like now 3 years being sober.
Hell yeah.
So,
Congratulations.
you know, so shook everybody's hand. Everybody's like, shots. And I'm like, thank you. You know, he gets mine, you know.
Baja Blast.
Yeah,
for me.
Baja Blast for me. Put like 7 rows in there. The same amount as a medium drink, please. But yeah, no, just went to Taco Bell and continued on, you know, because my good friend Marche Rocket, he's another wrestler, NWA talent now, and local legend. He's like, dude, you won it. The job just began. You know, that's what you wanted to strive for. You got it. Guess what? Now everybody wants to be you. So,
and that's when it really begins.
That's when the work truly begins, and that's wrestling right there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, how do you think that your style has evolved throughout the years? And what moments do you think were elevating moments in your career?
Well, I know I'm one of those lucky, not lucky people I started before COVID. You know, I started in like the summer of 2017, and COVID hit right at 2020. So 3 years in, right when I'm training with, you know, like OGs. I even, you know, at the time I had no idea. I just knew she was going to be a superstar. I was training with Sky Blue, if you know her. Sure. She's like, we literally came in together at Chicago Style Wrestling almost at the same time. She'd started a little bit before me, but then boom, being told, you know, because what's wrestling? Next to each other, performing, hitting, like pretty much not breaking 6 feet. Because could you imagine a 6 feet apart wrestling match?
That would
it'd be pretty boring. And usually, like these local crowds and venues, you know, you don't have enough money to put yourself in cylinders, you know. So like pretty much it went from like getting the idea of how to do things and getting used to these storylines to all of a sudden, yeah, we got to cut all that, and we don't know when it's going to come back. So it was like very like, whoa, you know, what do I do with myself, you know? So that's kind of where I had like that moment of, you know, it was kind of like sink or swim, because it's like, one, I have to work hard, but also what is the world going to be? Is this going to come out? Because no one had any idea, right? Like we could hear the news, but it was like, what's really going to happen? You know, all I'm seeing on social media is like, now everyone's on social media, and it's just like, whoa, Walmart this, there's no food, you know, like, whoa, what the heck is going to happen? But F that, I want to know what's happening with what I want to do maybe as a career and what I want to do for the rest of my life. So we would still do like training sessions, like, you know, limited people and all that, but everyone would just be like, man, that's great, but then how do I like show my art? You know, like that'd be like, you know, playing a guitar for years and then all of a sudden there's a string outage. You know, like what do you know, like what do you do? Like, if only there was something there, you know, I need that thing, you know, and strings are coming next week. Like, what do I do for that week? You know, like, what do you do? And a few of my friends at the time, my friend Derek, ringside film guy, I love I'm just remembering, shooting off the cuff, shout outs to everyone. He was just starting his like career and wanting to start like being a film guy, like like literally in his name, ringside film guy. He wanted to take film of like hard cam footage around the ring, and he'd be just hanging out with us because we were all friends. And I literally was just like, I got 3 years on me. A lot of people coming in at the Chicago Style Academy or brand spanking new. Why don't we just make a shitty YouTube show? You know, and we were starting to slowly show our art, and that's when I started like expanding a little bit. That's when I started, like, at that time I had just broken in with Galley, so they had just known me. I was starting to learn like different styles, and they were the first promotion that opened like back up with outdoor shows in Chicago. It sucked. Like, it absolutely sucked because it was like, oh, actually, the CDC might break, this promoter might did because of this and that, you know. So it was like but they were the first show back. And once like wrestlers who were like me wanting to go out, and they knew me, they're like, Axel, you're in. We've been training with you, so I've been learning lucha and whatever. But so many people that like would be wrestler, you know, want to do WWE here or used to be whatever, came in. So like, I met a guy named Ricky Cruz. I did a couple shows with like some AAA guys who were like, yeah, also here in Mexico, it sucks. Yeah. You know, Fly Acid will do like almost verbatim. You know, like we did a couple shows with the two lucha little guys that were in Nacho Libre as like crazy rascal dudes. So got to meet so many different people from that variety, expanding my brain and like picking theirs on like how to structure matches, how to learn lucha libre, how to do strong style, meeting people that have done like Noah in Japan and like picking their brains. Mil Muertes was a big fellow Puerto Rican guy who did Lucha Underground, and all those Lucha Underground guys were like coming in, like Audio Star, Dragon, and all these guys were just like wanting to just, you know, it's like, I need the strings, you know, it goes right back to the shit. So, and I was like running this show, you know, like it's a shitty YouTube show that would meet in like what looked like a, you know, like a poor man's basement with a shitty ring, and we were doing these characters, promotions. Like in that show, it debuted my father, Francisco Rico, who looks just like me, a little bit more of a tummy, and it's obviously real, and he looks verbatim just like me, but it's obviously not me. And we just were able to have fun with it and do things that we would never do in a show, and it kind of opened my mind to like, oh yeah, there's like people like characters, people like, you know, learning different styles, or at least knowing how to do different styles, because like lucha libre is intense. Like if a grown man at 180 pounds and his crotch is in your face, if you don't like do it right, not only are you going to hurt him, you're going to hurt yourself. So it was great to expand my knowledge of wrestling and picking the brains of like these people that have done this, that, the other. And it helped me once COVID was over and shows started, you know, slowly coming back. That poor TV, you know, that poor YouTube show slowly went away, and it became what is known now as my promotion of Proving Grounds. And then we go to conventions and we just literally play fun characters for like these anime conventions, and we kick each other's ass.
That's
so
cool.
I hope that answered your question.
Now, you were talking about the different styles of wrestling.
Yes.
For folks who are unfamiliar, tell us what's the big differences in lucha libre, strongman, and you were saying American style.
So there are like general styles, like I would consider like the American style, like the very like aim for WWE, where it's like a lot, you do all, but all of them have like a collar and elbow tie up. There's a lot of like, where lucha libre has a lot of more like athletics, like moving, like you see, like you think of like Rey Mysterio, where like he's flipping around somebody's neck 17 times. That's how like you think of like lucha libre, or like, and then American style you think of just like, like Hulk Hogan, we're shoulder tackling each other, we're slapping each other in the face, we're like, and then you think the strong style is when you just like chop his chest, whoever breaks down the tree first wins. And that's just like a short, like a Wikipedia, but it all has so much to it. But it's just like understanding, like, to tell a story and to like put together that this is believable. That's like the biggest thing. Like, we're trying to make people bite, if you know what that means, like the form of like throwing the rod in there. It's like, come on, you want it, but because nowadays, like, you can look up anything on your phone, literally. And with AI now, you just be like, I'd like to see Rey Mysterio versus Grover from Sesame Street. Yeah. That's sick, like. So it's like, when it's live and in color and right in front of you, you gotta like give it your all, and it's good to know all those styles. So it's like, well, I gave this guy a 737, like flippy dippy doo dah. He didn't like it, but this, like, when I chopped him in the chest, this crowd went crazy. So it's good to have that in the back and like kind of know what you're going through. And I think what is great, I always tell all my students that I train at Chicago Style Wrestling, it doesn't hurt to know improv. I in Chicago since about 2012, I've done like improv and improv comedy, like kind of like a Whose Line Is It Anyway style, or like just, and it has helped me tremendously. Not only with like interviews or like promos and all that, but just, it's just cool to just not, like if something goes wrong, could you imagine? It's like, like I've never had those moments. I try my hardest not to, because I hate that feeling of like a deer in headlights, where it's like, well, there's a car, I'm dead. Like nobody wants that in their life. So knowing as much as I can, or like, learning as much as I can, always it does wrong, knowing more or knowing different styles and whatever, because like it's, if you're at a lucha show and you know how to base for lucha or no lucha, all the guys immediately trust you. Like American style, you know how to lock up, you know how to like slap somebody, you know how to look like you're taking somebody's head off and then they can get back up. All right, cool. I trust that guy. He hits real hard. And then, I've worked guys that have like, damn, that hurt, but I'm not gonna. I'm a man. I'm a man. And it's like, yeah, Rico's good with me. Like, so it's just those little steps of, wrestling and knowing stuff. It's good to know stuff, right?
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting, you were talking about COVID times and how you guys kind of resorted more to social media to bring out more wrestling. I was hoping maybe you can talk about what that is like with social media for wrestlers getting into the game and the importance of it. Did you think you were ever going to be editing videos and doing photo shoots and stuff like that on your own, getting into it? And, talk about the importance of it.
I actually I knew I have actually a minor in social media business, and I like just had a feeling it's like this is gonna be big, and this is before I even got into like wrestling. But it's like it even helped me realize like my character of just like being me, but just on steroids. Like I learned English from watching Power Rangers, and I can remember all the bad guys. I can remember all the like. It's like, man, there's something to this, right? And then like somebody was just like, wrestling gear is a thing, so I'm like, huh. So I could put it part of my thing. I could like take these shoots. Like I'm a big comic book guy. Like if you see my Instagram, like there's me as Venom, there's me as the Joker who laughs, and just push. And then like all the comments are like, this is awesome, this is cool. And then it's like sharing them to like, this guy's super cool, and he's a cool wrestler, and he's like, good talk, and he's like talented. Also, actually, fuck that guy. Like all the things like for it is bringing them to what I'm trying to give out, which is just me being a cool nerd who also likes hitting other people and getting hit for a living. And it's all around social media, because it's like, if I could do that with people around me, but it's like, oh, cool.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, but like now it's like, wow, that was sick. 4 hours later, millions of views,
Yeah.
and it's just like that. Sometimes you kind of like, what's the analogy? You have a dart, you just gotta like kind of throw it and see if it hits, right? Like one of our things for Proving Grounds is over 1 million views.
Jeez.
And it's like, oh, I was just messing around, like an editor and, just clip things together. And I was like, thinking about it, it's like, do I want to use a blackout there, or do I want, just little, and it's work no matter what. Like that one, less work, and then the videos or the pictures where it's like, oh, it's so good, the lighting was perfect, gets less, so it's
Funny how that goes.
Wow.
that's like the TED Talk. I'm like, whoa, that hit hard, dude. But it's just one of those things that it's so important, and it's become such like what communication is in general, that you kind of need it. But like need it, I do it in a sense like, you say the thing where it's like, I'm not gonna sell out, but like if you paid me a lot of money and you told me like, I'll do it, but I still want to like for until that time happens, I'm gonna be me. You know what I mean? Like having like that and putting myself as like, you know what, this week I'll put the Red Ranger gear on Instagram, see how it goes, and you know what? If only 5 people like it, I'm one of them. But it's such a obviously, and of course reaching out to like promotions and like sending out things. It's like so important, because like I said, it's social media is now like our form of communication. Like I'm not sending letters to WWE. I don't think anybody is. I think they're pretty much like, they're gonna look at this and their interns probably be like, what is this? Like, and then I send them paper, and then what is this inside, a VHS tape? It's just like, do I
Is it a Rubik's Cube?
Yeah, I think I have to unlock it or something. But that's, I think, the world that we're living in, like in the sense of like music, like you got to put your shit out, like there's SoundCloud and all these things that have got people to stardom, and social media is kind of like that middle ground that's always been there, through like the apps that come and go, or you gain your from there. Instagram, Facebook, X. I keep on. I'm part of that scene where it's like that. It's Twitter, bro.
Yeah.
It's like calling the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower. It's like, bro, man, it's Twitter. It's Twitter. It's Twitter. It's so important. And even just like, I'll just share people's stuff, and it's like, whoa, thank you for that. What does it do to me? All it took was literally right. That took so much work.
It hurts to help.
It hurts to help so much. But yeah, no, it's social media is like wrestlers go to, like, what do you do without? I can't even like I've been so into it. I think we all have for so long, where it's like I can't remember the time before it, almost, except for like when I went to like Disneyland as a kid. Yeah, right. But like I can't picture myself being like, oh, this would be a sick picture. Here's Shamu. But yeah, I'm a story guy too. So share your guys' stuff, share my stuff. Like whatever, man. It's just story.
Yeah.
And it goes away in 24 hours.
Right. And it means a lot to a lot of people.
Absolutely.
People don't realize how much it actually means to artists, people trying to make it out there. Now, do you think that it's definitely helping, young wrestlers get into the scene? Because obviously that's, like you were saying, otherwise you'd have to send in a demo tape and stuff. Now you can just pop it up on YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, that's also like another thing too. It's like promotions are looking for you to promote too. Like, we still do some flyering at Chicago Style Wrestling, like of a physical flyer, but I know most promotions that I go for will tag me and will say like, oh, please share all the flyers that we do. Like, even if it's your match or this match, we're going to promote that. This guy's going to talk about what he thought about what happened last month, and it's like, cool, why not? Or like they'll ask us to do these like promotional videos of like introducing yourself, maybe some people know you, but like the general public is like, what if it catches an eye? It's like, man, I wasn't gonna go to that show, but this guy pissed me off in 30 seconds. You know, now I want to see him get his ass beat, you know? So there's like a big, you know, thing where it's like, I'm trying to help myself, but I'm, you know, I've already clocked in. I go back to like, I clock in when I get into the building, but then like if a promoter reaches out to me, it's like, hey guys, put this flyer out. It's for the heavyweight championship match here at Chicken Wing Wrestling. Got you. Share. You know, I shared it. Oh, it hurts.
Oh, no.
You know, and it helps them out, and then they keep wanting me to reach out or, you know, to maybe bring people in, or I bring a carload of my friends, and then we just keep helping each other out, and it's a help business, you know, and the more eyes, the better. And, you know, I came up with this idea, I swear to God, and somebody stole it. They saw like my college, you know, tapes of like social media, and it's like of collaborating. I was like, that is like such a good idea. I was like in like a, not a graduate course, but like one of those like higher, like to graduate like internships. And I was like, wouldn't it be great if like our communications department and our like ministry department did like a thing, and they were both titles on there, and they were like, that'll never work. No, you're dumb. And then now it's like the newest thing, because what does that do? It adds that person's, you know, group of everyone that they follow, and this person's group of everyone they follow mixed together. It's like, wait, you know, I do love Jesus, but I also love communicate. You know, like, oh no. And I look back at it, it's like, that son of a bitch, somebody stole my idea.
There's some nerd with a pencil in the back scribbling it down in a notebook.
You know, like, it's never gonna work.
It's never gonna work. Don't think of it anymore, idiot. Gone.
Oh my God.
It's the social media world. I mean, like, look at this. Gotta look pretty. We gotta do that. We gotta do that. Trust me, man.
Lights, camera, action. Yeah.
Lights, camera, action, man.
It's all smoke and mirrors, right?
Do you remember like the first match you ever saw like on TV that kind of inspired you to like, is what I want to do for a living?
Dude,
now?
I this is like the story I always tell. I've said this on so many podcasts, but I don't care saying it again, because it's like, it's my truth. It's my reality. In Puerto Rico, I was a wee lad, you know, because my last name is Irlanda, which means Ireland in Spanish. So that's why I do I'm Irish. But my uncle knew a local wrestler, and his name was Kuka Man. Because cool, right? Yeah. But this man, like, we walk into his house, and it's just like VHS tapes. WCW, WWF, you know, AWA. Like, this guy was a historian. He, like, first thing he pops in 1997, Halloween Havoc, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
Jesus, nice. Classic.
And, like, you know, looking back at it now, you know, I've done all the research. You could definitely tell, like, both these guys wanted to, like, show up, show out, show the world that this is like what they do, and like that is why I got into wrestling. Watching that, I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. One, this guy has an amazing haircut, Eddie Guerrero.
Hell yeah.
Hands down. Also, he's ripped. Pretty cool. And he's a dick. I hate him, but I love that I hate him. Yeah. Boom. And then Rey Mysterio comes out. Looks like a Power Ranger. You know what I mean? And I'm already there like, whoa, human Power Ranger. Those are real, you know, like. And he can do crazy stuff, and he looks awesome, and this crowd is like loving it. You know, it adds that, like, you know, when you're watching something, you know, and you get like crowd reactions of stuff. That's why I love like listening to like those like compilations of like just people losing their minds, because it's like, I don't even know what it is, but if all these people like you know, and especially as a kid, you know, I'm just like losing my mind, and I like everything was perfect to my eyes, you know. It's I bet looking back at it, probably they're like, we fucked that up, but I was like, this is cool, this is surreal. They're doing stuff that it's like what is seen as like impossible. And I was like, man, that is the coolest thing ever. And then since then, I was like, what is that? And he was like, oh, that's wrestling. And then I went to local shows. I started watching like early days, and then SmackDown started.
Oh yeah,
old here, you know, get my senior citizen cap on. But yeah, I saw the first ever episode of SmackDown. Jesus. But no, yeah, I fell in love with it, and like that was the one where it's like, I don't know if it's real, but I think someday if somebody was to show me that, like, that it could be an option, I'd do it. And do you want me to tell you about that story?
Yeah.
So before, like after graduating college, I had no idea what I was doing with my life. Huh?
Yeah.
Anybody? Am I alone? Am I alone?
What do you mean? I knew exactly what I wanted to do. What?
But I would go to like nerdy anime conventions. I would dress up as like, I was a big fan of like Robin. I was a big fan of Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get like the Sin tattoo like on the back of the hand because of greed. Like I'm a nerd. And then one of my buddies introduced me to this guy named Ari Akuma. He's a local wrestler. I didn't know it at the time. And, at the time I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I was doing like a pretty good job making like a stupid amount of money. I was living with my mom, so I had like no bills. So it was like not a lot, but if you don't have bills and you just keep getting a paycheck, I just had. So I was like, I'll try this thing called CrossFit because everybody's talking about it, and it's like it kept me in good shape. And like he made a mention. It's like, oh, you look like pretty athletic. Have you ever thought about wrestling? I was like, that's not real, right? You get picked from the heavens, or like some sort of goose picks you up. It's like you're now WWE, because at the time, like I had no idea. I was like high school, whatever, and everybody's thinking like just normal job, whatever. So I'm not looking into like the indies of Chicago. Like the only reason I didn't like watch the couple shows in the indies in Puerto Rico is because my uncles, who at the time were like 20, were like, yay, we can drink beer and yell, and I'm over here being like, that's so cool, ew, but in Puerto Rico is different. All my family's in Puerto Rico. It was just like me, my mom, and my mom is like, I like to dance. I love listening to music, and I'm a teacher, so I go to bed at 8 o'clock. So she's not taking me to like, live events or just like CSW, whatever's going around. So I'm just like, well, I'm going to hang out with my friends and play Smash Bros. But then at this convention, he was like, do you want to do it? And like verbatim, I literally was like, shut up, that's not real. And he's like, oh, dude, trust me, you'll meet this guy, this local legend, Steve Boz, the B-O-Z. Met him, he gave me knee pads, and then like since that day, I think I've taken like a few weeks off here and there. And of course, when I broke my clavicle, like that was like time off. But since about like August of 2017, I've been wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
And it was because of that, guys, being like, it's local, it's near like the Villa Park area. And at the time I was like in that area. It's like, whoa, that's like not too long of a drive. And it's pretty much the same amount of like, money to like a monthly rate and whatever. And
it's
like,
a lot cooler than CrossFit.
It is a lot cooler than CrossFit. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand the hate because I get it. But like I did it, and it like I've never like the first couple exercises, I've never sweat so much in my life. And that's how I know I like feel something. Like this was a good exercise. Is like I sweat really hard. I was like, all right, we'll see where this goes. Way too expensive. But yes, and hitting those ropes, it gains like muscles that you never used to, and of course taking bumps. Have you ever taken a bump?
I took a punch from Steven Flo last time.
Oh, okay. That's
just
a
taking
a wrestling punch.
I've taken a couple other kind of bumps back in.
Oh, yeah.
Some say those are easier bumps
than
sure. Wrestling bumps. And they last just as long. Pain.
If I had to choose, I prefer the other kind.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Don't do drugs. Don't do drugs unless you're in a safe environment with your friends that you trust. But no, so like it was like, and it works your brain, it works your body, and it pushes you to like want to be better. And there's this thing called like a learning curve. Like whoa, what do I want to do? How do I want to? And like just like throwing a ball, everybody it's like you pick it up, put it in your hand, you go like that. But everyone does it completely different.
Yeah.
Like my drop kick is different than this guy's drop kick. So. And it's been good. It's been there ever since. And I've been doing it so long that they were like, you can run Tuesday trainings at the Chicago Style Wrestling Academy.
That's cool. When a student becomes the teacher.
Yes.
If you had to, if there was like younger kids that wanted to get involved in like wrestling and stuff, what's some good advice that you would tell them on how to get started?
So I always say go to a school. don't do this yardy shit where it's like, whoa, let's try it on a trampoline, and like how those old disclaimers used to be. It's like, don't do this at home. It's like, okay, yeah, like do it, like, but don't like really do it. Like, oh, I push you, like do that. But like if you really want to do like professional wrestling, I would say find a school. Like I recommend going to like Chicago Style Wrestling or like any school. Like right now in Villa Park, Galley has like a training. And it's like you can learn lucha or you can learn American or whatever. They have connections with everybody, and same with CSW. But the thing is, it's hard. It's not easy. Like the first week, your body is not used to these reps and like, consistently hitting like a metal rope. Like, could you imagine like just, you guys have never done it. Could you imagine just hitting a metal rope, springing off of it and like think, oh, now I'm going to turn my body around and hit it again and hit it again and hit it again and hit it again. Right. Like they're not. It's not marshmallow. Like wee. Like when you watch those Hulk Hogan days where it's like the ropes are just there for show, and he's literally having to like use his left and his right hand to be like boing. Like nowadays those suckers are tight. So you gotta hit. You gotta hit. You gotta hit. You gotta hit. All of a sudden, whoa, bam, or get punched and get kicked and punched and kicked and punched and kicked. It's not easy and it's not for everybody. But I always say, if you want to do it, I'm a firm believer. Don't live with what ifs. I've tried my hardest not to live with what ifs, because then I think, what if? Right? Yeah. See, it's right there. I don't have to explain it. It's right there. So commit that first week. Once you're sore, take a warm bath and decide if you want to go in the next week, because there's a bug. It's like if you get one tattoo, right? It's like, oh, but now it's lonely. Like
he needs a friend.
He needs a friend. Or you just find out, you know what? I want to get rid of it. I don't like the way it looks. You know what I mean? It kind of adds that like, oh man, but it kind of hurt a little bit, but I love it. Like it's going to give you that bug. And of course what's the first thing everybody sees when they think of like, everybody that comes in like as a student, you think, whoa, I see WWE. This is amazing, whatever. It's not like that right off the bat, no matter where you go, unless you're like a god at wrestling. But if you just go to like Chicago Style Wrestling or anything local, it's going to be the hardest first week of your life, because like you're going to be told by a lot of people, it's like, no, that's not. You have to train your brain to like, oh, I've been protecting myself all the time. I don't want to fall down.
Oh, I see.
You see what I mean? Like, whoa, now not only am I forcing myself, it's like, whoa, this guy wants to slam me. He's picking me up. I kind of don't want him to, but also kind of have to have him slam me down in the easiest way. It trains your brain a little bit. So it's like, it's a hard first week, and then some people it's harder for the others. Some people get it very quickly. I think I was one of those people where it took me like a year before I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to get used to this. But I'm one of those people. Like I said, I don't live with what ifs. I my idols are wrestlers, and like the people I like is wrestling, and I used to do theater. So it's like, this is like the best of both worlds, where it's like storytelling, theater, I get to dress up, and I get to hit people. Like, so it's got its like pros, but it's also got its like cons. And, like I don't know if you can tell camera 1 or 2, but like this bad boy isn't straight because it got kicked real hard and broke sideways. My mom tells me after every call, make sure one of your friends kicks you in the other way so that it straightens out.
That's funny.
I've like had my left clavicle completely shattered into 6 pieces. They thought 4, and then when they cut me open, they found 6 pieces. So,
Can you tell the story about that?
Sure, but let me tell my point. No, but yes, I would commit. When it comes to anybody wanting to try it, commit to it. And then if it's not for you, like we have a friend named Arnley, who is one of my favorite friends. He's like a digital video, like I don't know why he started training wrestling, because I was like, dude, you have a gift in like taking pictures and videos and stuff. He started, and he was like, man, maybe the wrestling part isn't for me. And then we start seeing his stuff where he's like, on my Instagram with me as like the Joker who laughs. We did a thing on a beach where it's like me as finally the galley champ, and I was like unlocking this like evil character. And I just made that up just based off what he cut together and made this like amazing video. And now he's filming at all the shows. He's doing this, he's doing that. There's multiple jobs in the wrestling world. You know, you think of an announcer, you think of referees, you think of like camera people, you think of backstage people. Like there's a lot of things that need one show to be put together very well. Like at Chicago Style Wrestling, we have a deal with IWTV, which is like a Netflix of like wrestling for like indies and stuff. And there's so much production. Like our guy Derek, who I was telling you about, now he edits our shows to be put onto IWTV.
That's cool.
And so like there's loads of work to it, but like you have to at least know like a little bit, you know, because like there's work to be put together. If you want something to be nice, like this doesn't take, you know, like your production. It doesn't take like, so we got a mic and a camera. Cool. Let's just make it. No, you put all the set together. You make sure the sound is right. You like there's so much to get to it. And then there's also like the characters and whatever. But like these characters don't get put together without our hard cam, without our director, without our, you know, the guy who gave us, you know, sometimes $20 or less dollars to hit the shit out of each other for like 10 minutes. So there's so much to it. And there's not just like the taking the bumps, the locking up and the punching just to be a wrestler.
Now, if someone's getting into it, right, what sort of workouts do you think would really help someone get into the wrestling biz? Is it a lot more cardio? Is it weightlifting? Is it calisthenics? Is it pratfalls? Or is it maybe just a mix of all of them?
I don't think there is a wrong exercise because like if you look at like the Black and Brave Academy, like Seth does like a CrossFit program, which like is like very intense cardio mixed in with like heavy lift, and that's pretty much like what wrestling is. Like sometimes you hit the ropes like a bazillion times, then you have to pick up a ginormous human being, slam them down, and sometimes what the heck, you know, then I have to pick them up again and then hit the ropes a bazillion times. But I always say like don't just do wrestling training outside of this, like cardio, super hard, hit chest pull days, you know, like everybody that says like, oh, I do yoga, I do cross, I was like, great, keep doing that, and also continue to do wrestling, because you can do like 20 minutes on any type of cardio machine, but there's no equivalent to like hitting the ropes and then taking a bump and then taking slams. There's no like prep unless you have a ring or you just, I trust this carpet, you know, like there's nothing like a training school or any type of ring. Like I haven't found anything. I don't know if there's like some weird like voodoo training or something or whatever, but it doesn't hurt. And, you know, I'm not a person to tell you like this won't work with this, because I've seen them all. And, you know, there's bodybuilders that have become wrestlers. There have been yoga instructors that have been wrestlers. There's been gymnasts who have become wrestlers. There's CrossFit athletes that have become wrestlers, you know. So I just recommend, like, if you're coming into it and it's your only span of, like, exercise, I'd get a $20 membership at Planet Fitness, you know, and just kind of do a bunch of things like, you know, focus on a leg day, whatever, and just do, like, but I do like my own thing, you know, like after like my surgery, like I had to start taking fitness and, you know, of eating very seriously. So I kind of got into the best shape of my life. So, but because of a horrific incident that happened, which is a perfect segue.
There you go.
But I hope that answers your question of just like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
Because there's nothing like it unless like you just get hit a lot, and that's like a therapist thing that you should probably talk with your friends about. But yeah, it was actually just before July 4th of 2023. No. Yeah, I've been hit so many times in the head. It might have been 22, 23. I think it was like 22 turning into 23, or vice versa. Whatever. I've been hit on the head a whole lot. But I was just part of a wrestling show, and it was for maybe 12 people. Maybe. Like it was like front row, like on one side completely full, and then like a whole lot of empty seats. So I was wrestling a guy, and I was like, let's not go super crazy today. Like it's for the main event, but let's, like, you know, we're already like 4 hours over time, you know. And we have so many angles in this. Like my fiance at the time was coming out with me as a manager, and she doesn't do wrestling. She does like stand up and theater in Chicago, so she kind of gets it. She's kind of like a performer of sense. But you know, if shit were to go hit the fan, she'd probably be like, what, you know, like, so you know, let's not go super crazy. And then I also had my friend Eric, who I was telling you guys before, who was also like helping me because we were dastardly bad guys together. And, you know, we were talking out this match. He's like, I'll do this crazy move. And he's like, I'll do this crazy move. He's like, have you ever done that crazy move? And he's like, I've done it a couple times, but, you know, trust me, man. It's like, are you sure? Because like I said, we can do something else. It's no problem. He's like, yeah, I got it. And don't know what happened. I got slammed on the ground or like, you know, twisted over, and I didn't hear anything like you think, you know, when you think of like athletes that have been like, oh, I heard a pop, I heard it. I was just like, and I kept wrestling. You know, I look back at it, it was shat, like to the point where it was almost coming out of my skin. And people were just like, oh, I think your clavicle just came out. It's like, okay, you know, what am I going to listen to? But when you're in the adrenaline, you know, you don't really know it. Finish the match. I didn't know it was like, so there's like when you're into the turnbuckle, I like to put my foot up to like kick somebody in the face, like get away from me. And I usually like to lift my whole body to like extend my foot. And I like did that, and I was like, I had strength in my right, but my left was just like giving me nothing. And I was like, whoa. So I kind of gave him like a Hoya. And I was like, whoa. And I told the referee, it's like, I think there is something wrong here. And pretty much we had to improvise. And thank goodness I could improvise. But literally finished the match. I had my arm like this, raising this like championship belt that we had at the time. I went to the back, and I just knew something was wrong. I could like kind of move my elbow and arm, and I can kind of do like this, but I was like, something is definitely wrong. And they, I was at like this emergency care, you know, like late night until like 4 a.m. Didn't get the x-rays back, but the doctor came up. She's like, oh, you're Axel, right? Yeah, that's broken. And then turned around and just turned around. It's like, great. So I went to an orthopedic doctor, and we found out that it was shattered, not just broken. Like, you know, when you think of like a grenade, you know, it was like bone, grenade. And I was out for about 6 to 8 months. And that's when they're like, oh, and also on top of that, you have a vitamin D deficiency. You know what helps your bones grow? Vitamin D. You don't have any of it. So terrible. Like even to this day, I take like heavy vitamin D, like vitamins every morning. And I found out that, that's why like my levels of like my body, it's like, you know, I've got strong legs, but like my upper body is like, it's strong when I focus on this muscle, but then the rest of my body kind of looks like, you know, I look at myself and judge like the way I look, but that's just like that internal, you know, when it's a show business type of sport, you look at pictures like before and after, and it's like, man, I really let myself go. But because of like a horrific thing that happened, I started taking it more seriously and seeing like the results that I want to see. And it's like, I wish it never happened, but I'm happy like at least there's something good coming out of it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's my crazy shatter story.
It's pretty wild, dude.
Yeah. I don't know, like I can't think of like anything that's like wrestling where it's like if something happens like that, like I don't know for like your guys' just like band, whatever, it's like if you're just shredding on it and so all of a sudden like your wrist breaks off, it's like, okay, what do I do? You know, like what do I do?
Yeah, it's wild.
And like finishing a show, that's like the crazy part of it. But sometimes with like wrestling, there's just so much adrenaline happening where it's like this happened a few times. It finally is like this because like one guy just accidentally kicked me. He slipped on my beautiful luscious hair and just somehow just kicked me. And the only reason I knew it was broken is because it was gushing out blood. And I've had times where I've been headbutted for real, so it kind of like just kept on moving it. But that's wrestling, baby.
Yeah, baby.
That's wrestling, baby.
Now, what is the protocol when that happens? When you break a bone or something, you know, is there a sign you do to the ref or?
Well, it really depends. Like, I don't think there is like I know with like the bigger promotions, you know, you've heard the like online where it's like if you ever see the referee give the X, that usually means like something has like happened. I know like recently in like WWE, like a woman like landed wrong and her knee was just like turned. You don't want to even hear that word when it comes to a knee. And you just see them like cut to commercial break and then like they come back and it's like, all right, anyway, we have a singles match here, you know, like. But when it comes to like that moment, like I had no idea. All I knew is like something was wrong, but it didn't feel wrong. You know what I mean? It felt like, well, I'm still going to go. I know something's wrong, so I'm going to figure it out afterwards. And, you know, thank God I've never been in a sense where it's like I saw like, you know, where it's like my finger's that way. It's like, oh, I know it's broken. Here it's just like, well, I still feel okay, and I'm hopped up on adrenaline, so I'm like good to keep going, but I definitely know something's wrong. But I, you know, me being the professional guy that I am, I let everybody like in the facility, you know, it's like, I think I even had to, the only one I couldn't talk to was Eric, and he had like a stint in our match where he was going to come in with his suitcase, and I had to like kind of, there was 12 people, never mind, I don't give a shit who knows about this, but I was like, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, you know. It's like, I don't know what's wrong, but either way, let's not do the thing that we planned because something has happened. And like, it was probably one of the worst endings to a match I've ever put together, but it was just like, I just knew something was up, and it's like, at the end of the day, we have to be humans, you know, at the end and figure out what's going on. So I was like, okay, so these 12 people are gonna know like I'm yelling at and being like, stop everything, whatever, but we still finished it, so proud of that moment. But I don't really know because there's so many things. I know like at one of our last CSW shows in December, they were doing a tables, ladders, and chairs match. My friend Victor Iniestra and Rafael Quintero were like crushing it. Like they had a belt on the top of the ceiling where they had to climb up and, you know, fight each other and slam each other through tables and stuff. There was a part where Rafael was on top of a ladder. He jumped down and landed on Vic. Like he was good. Like it was close, like crazy shit ever. Like the ladder moved and everything. So it adjusted like how he was coming down and broke the table, and the table hit my friend, knocked him out. And it's like those things where you're trying to like make it look crazy, especially in those type of situations, or where it's that dramatic, and it's like, whoa, what do you do? I know we didn't want this to happen, but it's like it could happen whenever. Like there have been times where somebody hit somebody really hard, and it's like, okay, he's moving, you know. Or like there's the sense of the disbelief where I'm trying to make it look like I'm going to hit you so hard, but we still have to continue going for 10 minutes. But like, so it's a hard thing, because sometimes, you know, you can talk to your fellow wrestler or whatever, but it's like sometimes you just go, especially if I'm a bad guy, I think I can deal with it better. But as like good guy, it's kind of like, whoa, what do I do? It's like, yeah, I ripped his arm off. Cheer for me, you know? It depends on the situation.
Now, would you rather play the face or the heel?
Man, you can't ask that.
It's a personality question. It's a good one.
I have found I always answer this question as kind of like a shitty way to answer the question, because some fans will come up to me and be like, what do you prefer, face or heel? I'm a smart guy, you know. And I'll be like, well, actually, I'm just myself, but at this promotion they don't like me, and at this promotion they love me. So what's your problem? And, you know, because like everywhere I go, I'm Axel Rico. Like the second I'm in the building, or like, you know, besides the social media being like clocked in, when I'm in the building, like I'm Axel Rico, you know, like I'll see who I'm wrestling or whatever the situation, what the storyline is. Maybe that ticks me off and reminds me, you know, like that guy, storyline, slept with my mom. I'm a little pissed off, right? You'd be too, right? Like if you put in this scenario where like for 6 months, I could have won the CSW Heavyweight Championship, but this guy keeps on finding a way to be like, oh, actually, if you zoom in at 3.4 seconds, he cheated. You know what I mean? And it's like, would you be pissed off? Would you be, you know, like, that's how I answer the question. I'm Axel Rico everywhere I go, but the fans perceive, you know, what I've done and what I've done with like what I've done at this promotion and this promotion. That's just me. If you don't like it, sorry, I already did it. I can't rewind life.
Yeah.
You know, that's a you problem, fan. But that's
Some
how
people
that's,
like rooting for the heel, though. You know what I mean?
I,
People like rooting
I,
for the
I
bad
will
guy.
admit, I remember the first time I was a heel, and it kind of opened my world. It was like, this is crazy, because I'm just being me. And it really takes that moment, because like I remember when I first started, I was like, I'm going to be a good guy, and I was trying so hard to be like what others perceive as like a good guy, you know, like, yeah. But what the fuck does that mean? You know, and when I became, you know, I joined a stable, a evil guy stable, and we kicked the asses of these mass luchadors who everybody loved. And I was like, this is cool, because now it's like I'm still being me, but I'm just being me. You know, I'm not forcing myself to be like what I've seen or what I, you know, because like I was going out there thinking like I have to do this, but now I'm just going to do what I would do in this situation. And it kind of opened my eyes, and it kind of made me a better bad guy for when I'm here, but it's also made me a really good guy, because it's just be you.
It's just you.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Now, walk us through that. You know, you clock in, you arrive at the arena, you're getting in there.
Yeah.
How does Axel Rico become Axel Rico? Do you have a process? What's your mantra?
Well, usually I drive. Step one, I drive. But usually once I'm in there, I'll, you know, find out where the area is, where we change, whatever. If I'm there early enough, I always like to blow myself up before, like if I have time, you know, like if it's a show, like we did a show in like Minnesota where it was like 8 hours there and 8 hours back. So we didn't really have so much time to like get in the ring and do whatever. But what is like a stereotypical, like I have 2 hours or something before the show starts, get into the ring, feel the ropes out, you know, because every ring's a new monster to, you know, to work with. Hit the ropes, get like super, like blow myself up per se, like get super gassed, run, hit the ropes, breathe, sweat a little bit. Then, you know, I'll probably like take a minute to just kind of relax, get myself a little bit hydrated. I'll usually like, you know, maybe do like a headstand. I love to do headstands on my head. Dress once I'm in gear, it's like it's go time. I like to, you know, put on my like gauntlets, you know, get everything into, and then like just be myself. And then once the music hits, goes through the curtain, it's like, you know, Disneyland. You know, like this is where a button has been switched. But you know, when it comes to just prep, you know, like push-ups, blowing myself up, getting into gear, and then just waiting for my turn to go through the curtain. And then boom, Axel Rico.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then to decompress afterwards, when you take the Axel Rico hat off, you stay in it. Do you wear the belt at Taco Bell, or what's the come down like?
Well, usually the Taco Bell's through the drive-through, because it's usually like after midnight, so there's no like. That would be sick though. It's like, excuse me, one free Baja Blast for the champ. That would be really sick. But usually I try to find my hair tie. Because when this is like a sweaty, crazy mess, like this is a jungle. Like before I started growing my hair out, it would just be an afro. So it's just curls, wavy curls, wavy curls. So when I like wet my hair, I have to put conditioner in there, or it just becomes like a just a frizzy mess. You know, I look like Miss Frizzle but Puerto Rican. But usually once I'm back through the curtain, it's usually, you know, first off, breathing, decompressing, because whatever adrenaline is now going to slowly wear off. So like maybe you're going to get some soreness, kind of like prepping for that. If I like the person I've wrestled, I'll usually talk to them. But just kind of chill. I love to hang out by the merch table after I'm done, because, you know, everything I sell or give away, it's like you're repping me. So thank you. And there was like a time where it's like everything I donated whatever I got from like merchandise, whatever I would donate to like a Chicago Canine Rescue, or like there was like a whole year that I did that for I did like a For the Puppies campaign, because it's like money replenishes, but the fact that you bought my t-shirt, or like bought an 8x10, that like means you want me to succeed, or you care about, or like what I do. So I'm always hanging out, talking with the fans, shaking hands, bumping fists, taking free Diet Cokes if you wanna, They're always like, "Hey, Axel, I got you." It's like, I'll take a water or Diet Coke. Like, I'll be right back. But, usually decompressing, enjoying the show, because like at the end of the day, I love just wrestling and I love seeing other people wrestle. So I'll usually watch the end of the show, or just find a merch table and just kind of chill, hang out.
Is it like important for like wrestlers to hang out with the fans afterwards, at least like in the indie level?
Yes and no. Some indie fans are the worst. And there's like that, I don't know what the phrase is, but it's like when the stage is lifted, everyone looks at you, and they look at you at that higher whatever, but there's still that reality of it. So it's like when you get brought down and like in front of some fans, like there have been fans where it's like they try to like, they think we're like homies, like they pretend like they know me, or like they're like, "Oh man," and then try to grab like my gear. You know what I mean? You never want just like some random person that you either know or don't know to just.
Right.
So it's like yes and no, because it's like you want them to support you, want them, but like at the end of the day, it's like you were a contractor, you were a performer, and like you're trying to help them perform. It's not like a buddy unless like they're super cool or something like. But it depends on like the fan, depends on the situation. There's a lot of fans that like still reach out to me, but they've been cool. Like there's this family who brings this little girl, and she brought signs. Like she was like, "We're Rico's Rangers," and like it's like, that's adorable. Like I even used her and came out with her as part of my entrance. So it's like there's like that bond that you can create. But it's like if I don't know somebody, you know what I mean? Like there's also like the reality of it. Like we're all people. It's like, dude, if I see you, like if I'm in the curtain performing, and then as I come back and I see somebody opening my bin and like going through my stuff, I'm probably gonna react being like, what the hell, or what the sure. So it's like there's reality of it, and like there's some boundaries, right? And it's like, thank you for respecting my thing, but like now respect me inside and outside. Like there's the amount of like weirdos that have messaged me and being like, "Hey dude, love you." It's like, "Oh, thank you so much. Send me a picture of you butt ass naked." You know what I mean? Like
I don't.
That's why like the from what I get, like I don't even know what like a female wrestler gets. Like I used to be friends with Sky Blue, and the stories that she would tell me is like buck wild. And like there have been people that's like, I see you on a monthly basis. I know what you've told me, like, like, oh man, dude, like sometimes
that is pretty wild to think about,
right? Yeah. Like, could you imagine, sometimes I've been like, hey, I want to tell like the guy that's like, I know he paid us $20 to be here, but it's like, I know what he did last summer, it's like super weird because there's that, it's like you want them to be there because they're gonna make the show successful, whatever, but it's like, fans can be fans, and people are into different stuff, and people like think they can do different things. So it's like it's a weird fine line. As long as you like, I'll respect you if you respect me. That's how I am. You guys have been very inviting. I'll open up. I don't mind it. It's like I'm the guy that will dance on the table. I'm not afraid to make a fool out of myself. But it's like if you're trying to like lace my shoes together right in front of me, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like anyway,
Does that actually happen?
Sometimes, but like with my wrestling shoes. So like sometimes like if I'm on the outside, like somebody like slammed me through something. I remember there was like this one fan I was like kind of like selling and slowly coming up, and I was like feeling like fingers on like the back of my shoes, and I turn around and they're trying to undo my like shoelaces like as I'm wrestling. And I think it was it was like a 12 to 30. I knew it wasn't like a young kid, but still like enough where it's like, what do I, like,
can you
stop
kick
it?
him?
Yeah, right. Can you? And it's like your dad is gonna not want, like, is gonna be like, yeah, great job, Tim, like, part of the show, or like, what the fuck, so it's like but I've had a lot of weird fan interactions and stuff. Never really recently, thank God, because sometimes, I never trust, I don't want to know what somebody would do if they got in a ring. Like, thank God. I've never had that happen where it's like I'm wrestling with somebody and just all of a sudden a fan gets in. Never had that happen yet. Knock on. This is wood.
Yeah.
Okay. But like on the outside, like they'll be like at this lucha show, there's always this woman who wears like a big mask. She's kind of like a heavier set woman. And she just says like the darkest ribs like ever. Like I'll be like outside and she'll be in Spanish, of course. She's like, you're handsome, but not TV handsome. And I'm like, oh, like to the point where it's like, it's breaking character. Like, like left field stuff. Like what the heck?
That's
and she's
wild.
like, and like to the point where it's like, oh, you're probably a size 12 shoe. Like, what? It's like 12 and a half, like the weirdest thing ever. It's just like, and she's always like videoing her like husband or something. And she'll be like, my husband doesn't like you. And it's like, what the, okay. Man, dude, fans are like the best. They're also the worst, but you also need them. How else do you put it that way? I think that's the best way to put it.
Whether they like you, whether they're booing you or cheering you, it still is the same, right?
Yeah, because I've even had a fan. I'm not like the biggest sports person. Like I used to play baseball and whatever, but I thought like my biggest fan thing was like nerdy stuff, like Power Rangers, Pokemon, whatever, and I would watch wrestling. Like, if there was a FIFA Cup, that's my WrestleMania, like whatever. And a fan, while I was running for the CSW Heavyweight Championship, once I won it, he bought me a personalized Axel Rico Cubs Puerto Rican jersey.
Oh, wow.
That's
Like
cool.
the real kind. So it's not just like $10. Like it had the flag instead of like the Cubs logo, full thing where it's like I could go out onto the field, just give me a hat and the pants, like it's a
cool.
legit uniform. And I was like, do I tell him I don't watch baseball? You know what I mean? Like, or do I like, because literally he gave it to me. He's like, oh, darn it, I'm wearing green today. I'll put it on for the next show.
Oh,
And he's like, oh, thanks, man, you're badass. It's like, cool. Does this mean I've chosen, in Chicago? Like, it's like you're either a north side or a south side. It's like, But yeah, no, there's some people that are the freaking best, and then there's like the ones that you tell stories about, and then there's the ones that you want nothing to do with, absolutely nothing to do with. Yeah.
Now, earlier you were talking about strapping up the gauntlets on your arms,
Oh, yeah.
talking about your boots.
Oh yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your style. How did you come to get your style, and how did you come to get your wrestling gear?
Well, so when it came to like my style per se, like when I think of the Mount Rushmore, like I said, top two, Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio. Like I have found that I'm not like the most like the flippy dippy doodah guy. So it's like but I love, like lucha libre. So like I will make these like people that can do it super, like make them look like $1 million. Like I know how to take a flip and a back flip and a side flip. I can land and make it look like it killed me super well. So that's where I found my strengths. Where it's like if I'm doing a show which I've done with like Bandito, Vikingo, and like it's like crap. I can do kind of, but it's not going to look good. But, this guy does like a tilt-to-whirl, DDT flip back on his head. I'm going to make that look like $1 million. That's part of my style, because it's like we're dancing. You know what I mean? This guy's fighting this way. I'm fighting this way. So I like to lay in big-ass strikes. I'm a striker. Like people say when I slap somebody in the face, it sounds like a shotgun. So... And I've been known to have a good chop to the chest, to the back, clotheslines. And so that's like, if that's my style, that's my style. But I'm just Axel Rico. When it comes to gear, like ever since like I had that moment of just being me, and like after winning that championship of just like keep being you, I just started getting into super cool gear that I think is awesome. Because at the end of the day, like I'm putting it's me. Going out there. Recently, I got like this mask maker named Vince. Another shout out. More shout outs. He literally made me a lucha version of the Green Power Ranger.
Wow.
So I've got the shield, pants that look completely green, full mask. I have this guy in Mexico who makes gear for like CMLL and a lot of other local luchadors here. So it's super good. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook and see all like my gears. But it's just me. It's like things that I'm interested in. Like I love the Batman Joker who laughs. Like I think he looks badass. Venom, badass. I've done the pink Power Ranger, the red Power Ranger, the green Power Ranger. I don't know if I should say it on the podcast and give it out, but my next gear is probably going to be Ivan Ooze, if you know where that's from.
Is that the guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Close. It's from the Power Rangers movie.
Of course.
Way off.
Of course. Way off, but it's okay. But just like stuff like that, where it's like stuff, because, like I said in the beginning of this podcast, man, when I think of like Power Rangers, I think of those badass like costumes they would wear. All the bad guys looked super cool, like those, Japanese like guys like putting the foam suits, but they looked cool. And it's like I'm thinking back to, it's like that would be a sick set of gauntlets. That'd be a sick entrance gear. That'd be a sick. I even went to New York with my fiance and we did this like live action theater where it's like you're in like this haunted house. I think it was based off like Hamlet or something like that. But it's like no one speaks. You wear this mask and you go throughout this like city, and there's like at this point of the play, there's like a ritual of casting witches and a seance. But it's like if you're only there from 8:30 to 8:40, and it was like so cool. I was like, that'd be a great jacket to wear. And I'm just like taking these little things from like things of Shakespeare, things that I like in theater. And one of my prized possession gears is one of my favorite matches is Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero when he finally won the belt.
Hell yeah.
So I have like almost verbatim on the ass it says Axel Rico. Eddie pants, the kick pads have that golden lacing, the gauntlets have that tape that he would use, and like when I had it in front of me and they laid it out, I almost like was in tears. I'm like, this is awesome and sick. So I don't wear that one a lot, but I did a Sub-Zero gear because I have a Mortal Kombat tattoo. I love Mortal Kombat. But yeah, it's just me. Different colors. I think coming up next is probably going to be a yellow Power Ranger gear, and then who knows, maybe we'll get into the later seasons of Power Rangers or something like that. But it's just me.
Different types of Power Rangers.
Yeah, man.
Can you talk us through a little bit about cosplay wrestling? That's such a wild idea. And what are some of the cool matches that you've seen?
Let's see. So we've been doing this for about 3 years. It started from that shitty YouTube channel, but yes, it's called Proving Ground Chai, C-H-I, but Shy, One of my friends who I met at the conventions, she like, instead of going the route where I went to wrestling, she went into the more committing to like being like an event coordinator for these like conventions, and was like, this one was opening up and they're like, oh no, we need a main event. And I was like, well, I can get a ring and a bunch of people to dress up and we'll just wrestle.
Hell yeah.
And when, the first one was like super, super cool, but, all these people were pitching me ideas like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we see like Mario versus Bowser for real? It's like, yeah, but anyone can see that, so that was like my only takeaway is like, one, we try to commit to these characters. Like I usually dress up as Greed from Full Metal Alchemist. I have a friend, Hans Carden, who is like Wario, and he commits. He doesn't say anything except for wah. Like that's all he says. I'll be like, how are you? He's like, wah, wah, wah. Like, and committing to these like characters. And so what I wanted to bring is like, let's have like a Dragon Ball Z. Let's have like Goku, but let's have him wrestle like Naruto. That would never happen. So like some matches that we've seen Cruella de Vil wrestle Shaggy and Scooby.
Love it.
And she opened up with the promo being like, I'm looking for a new fur coat. You know what I mean? And it's like a fun, and it's just those little moments are the things that's like, I remember that. And then one of our main events of our last one was Pikachu and Charizard versus Nacho Libre and Esqueleto.
Oh, hell yeah.
So it's like, that's where I try to push, where it's like, everyone has these ideas and like characters that they want to portray. One of the coolest ones too, Lily La Pescadita, another Chicago style wrestling. She was Wednesday Addams, and she wrestled Ness from like Super Smash Bros. And whatever. And my friend and playing Ness was Arya Kuma, the guy that got me into wrestling. So it's just like that's what I just try to do at all these convention shows, and it's like it's super cool because it's a convention, especially those anime ones. Everyone there just bought a ticket for the whole weekend, so they're just like looking for stuff to do. So we always have packed crowds. If you look at Proving Ground stuff, there's like 400 people. Like
that's awesome.
I don't want to push like the thousands and thousands, but it's like these like convention centers are like packed with people. I know the first time we did the Minnesota show, they put us in this tiny room, and it filled that place up to the point where like when people would react for something so hard, someone would accidentally elbow the light switch off and on.
Oh, that sucks.
I'd be like, yeah, we're gonna kick ass. Like I'm raising yeah, stop. Dude, get out of the corner, like move over. It's like, I can't. It's filled in here. Yeah. And it's just always just fun. And we've been doing it for like, we'll be celebrating like almost 4 years now. And I want to do stuff in Illinois. I want to keep doing stuff. We've done stuff in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and it's just fun. It's just, it's not serious at all. Like we have championship belts. But it's like we have a show every like 3 months. So it's like we've had Ash Ketchum be our champion. And actually to the point, it wasn't even Ash. It was his plushy animal Charmander that was our heavyweight champion. And that's the clip that actually went viral was my friend Ari playing Ness wrestling a plushy animal and getting his ass beat. So it's just like fun to see like people like Ari, like he's like, I could wrestle the shit out of that plushie. And he did. Like having those moments of and treating those characters like my friend Hans being Wario, he's like wah wah wah, and he's like, okay, I think he's trying to tell me something, right? He grabs the mic and Justin Waz sings the national anthem, but just like in the and it's like that would never happen at any other show except for this. And it's just because he's in this crazy stupid character, and that's why I love it, and I'm gonna do it every single weekend that I can.
Hell yeah.
That's so fun. Yeah. Especially at those conventions too. That's like the right kind of crowd for something like that. Yeah, like I have a friend named his name is Eldridge the Storyteller. He's a bald, short, ripped dude, and he plays Krillin, and he's like, I know there's going to be a Goku at every one of these. I'm going to find him. And at every show, he's be like, I did it. And it like adds to the, like, yeah, I've watched that anime. But it's really like two dudes that don't know each other. And one is like, that is the most overweight Goku I've ever seen in my life. It's like, that's not really Goku. You know that? But it's like, yes, he did it. And he didn't blow up. Oh my God. Convention stories, anime, and they're the best crowds too, because you can give them like the little, because they're not wrestling fans. There's like some wrestling fans. There was like a guy that was like CM Punk. It's like when CM Punk has seen better days. But he was like, oh, that was a great like those were great wrestling, but everyone else is just like, whoa, are they actually hitting each other? Like there was a point where it's like we had an MC, like the person that was like the event coordinator that helped us, that was like, you can clap, guys. Like, because they had no idea. They're like, whoa, fighting? It's like, yeah, you can clap, you can scream, you can be like, F you, and people are bringing signs, and it's crazy. It's awesome. Oh, damn. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Now, on your special shout-outs here, it
Yes.
said you wanted to give a special shout-out to a certain man, Danny DeVito.
Ooh, yes. That's just something I've like, when it comes to like filling out stuff, one of my first ever like outside of like high school and college thing, like there was like a questionnaire application for like this ultimate frisbee team, and it was like, what's your favorite athlete? Because it was like just a bunch of like Joe Bros, whatever. I meant to write Michael Jordan, but I put Michael Jackson on accident. And then it was like, oh, and who's this funny dude that just put a random like human instead of like an athlete? And so like on everyone, I'll always add like a funny character that I really like, and I love Danny DeVito because like Always Sunny in Philadelphia is the best, and I want him to come to my wedding. So this is just if I can do a special shout out and he can come, or I can hang out with him, because I think that's just like That's like my album covers, just be like me and then just Danny DeVito right there. I think that'd be sick. And I'm an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan, so like when he did like Twins with like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was like, this guy's cool.
Axel Rico versus the Trash Man.
That would be
How about it?
Ooh man,
He's
that's
a trash man. He just throws trash around.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
garbage.
and he cuts people's throats open, so that'd be sick.
So sick.
Red is green.
There you go.
But yeah,
Hell of a wedding.
I'm so happy we got that shout out in there. So Danny,
Oh, we read the fine print. We make sure we go through it. It's like the brown M&Ms thing from
Yes.
Van Halen. You know,
Yes.
we got to make sure we
got to
read
make
the
sure you
writers.
got to get it in there. Well, speaking of like metal and stuff, I have a tattoo of hold on, I don't know, it's tight, but it's a luchador like mask. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
And it is the most metal thing I think I've ever done in my life.
Really?
Because I saw like you sent me the things to be like with your guys' band. It's like, let me tell this like super metal story. So we were doing a Lucha Libre vegan fest, and all the parameters, like you can do whatever you want, but as long as you were vegan, you could like sell your wares. And like our promoter is a vegan, and we had a vegan wrestler, so the rest of us meat eaters got to like perform. But there was this person that was a vegan tattoo artist.
Ooh.
And I was told, it's like, oh, you and your partner Hans, the one who plays Wario, we also team everywhere, are wrestling this AAA signed wrestler and one of our luchadors in the main event. And it was like towards the end. And so I like went up to her, was like, please be open. You know, I'll whatever. And we like wrestle, the show goes crazy. We go through like tables. They're throwing like money at us. It's like a very custom thing in Lucha Libre where if you really like it to like have, and I'm like, okay. Bow. Okay, come on. It's like, please be open. You know, like I'm trying to take off my gear super fast, like also trying not to like flash all these fans and whatever. And then I guess like she was about to leave. It's like 10, almost 11 o'clock. She's like, all right, I'll you know, I want money. You know, I'll get you this luchador match. But then what's the headlining thing? I thought we were the headliners because we had like this superstar from AAA. Apparently there was a vegan heavy metal band. And like, when I mean heavy metal, like straight up screamo,
Jesus.
like think As I Lay Dying, but we don't eat meat, you know, like going hard. So there's like these people moshing, like vegan moshing, but like going hard. There's just like reverberating through this garage, and I'm getting a tattoo, and I just wrestled. I was like, this is the most metal
That's
thing
pretty metal.
ever. Like you just hear, you know, and I'm like, this is a story I'm gonna tell as much as I can, because it's like I'm not a really metal person, but that's metal.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Do you have
dude.
more tattoos? You got a lot?
I have 3, but I want more because like I'm a picky bitch. I'll say that because it has to mean something for me. This is the only one where it's like because it has a story and it means so much, and I've always wanted like something wrestling on my body. I've got 3 tattoos, so it's the luchador. That's like I love, you know, Lucha Libre is kind of what helped me open my minds to learning more things about wrestling. So it's like, why not? It's super badass. It's just the black and gray, you know, black lining luchador mask. On here, I've got the dragon from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah.
All of my family were big fans. I love it. You know, Sub-Zero is my character. I love just like playing games. And then over here is Galaga. I have the Galaga ship, and it has 2 meanings. One, it's for my mom. She's not dead, but like, you know, I got it because she was a single parent, and we would always like every day that we had like moments together, we would try to beat each other's high score.
Hell yeah.
And it represents, you know, like when it's when you have one ship there at the bottom, it means you have 1 life. So it's like I'm here giving it my all until that, you know, that whatever little pixel hits me and I explode, and I'm gone from this earth. So it's like a little meaning to it. But I want more, but it's like I always have those things where it's like, I want something, but I want, you know, like I want it to be super special to me. And it's like I have so many interests. I think something with Power Rangers is going to be next because it's just me. Like I collect the toys, I collect the, you know, it's just part of me. But then I wear it so much, so it's like, but it's got to be the best because like I could become a Power Ranger now. But yeah.
You probably got to take a little time off too to let those tattoos heal, right?
Oh yeah. So like one of my friends at that show got it beforehand.
Oof.
And I was like, dude, that's brave. And he's like, somehow the like tape didn't come off, but it's like, he's like, you know, like it'll be fine. you know. But that's why I was like, please be open, because like the guy, his name is Psycho Clown. And when you think of a guy named Psycho Clown, like midway through the match, his character just takes out a whip and just starts beating the crap out of everybody. Oh, yeah. So like when I was like, man, I'm in the main event with a guy named Psycho Clown, maybe I shouldn't get my skin infected with also all these vegan things. But it's also in like, it was also in like near like Cicero, and it was just kind of like in a garage, and it was like the floor. So it's like, I didn't want it to get infected. Sure. I was like, this is probably going to be like a awesome, crazy match. Like he was throwing chairs. We were going, you know, we were slamming through tables. We were like picking each other up, high flies. Like, you know, we even got a Canadian destroyer in that match. You know, like there was so much. I was like, I can't wait. You know, I'm going to think about tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. But badass, and I still got a tattoo out of it.
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a cool story. Do you have any embarrassing stories when you're in the ring?
Bro, where do you want to start?
Give us your top 2, maybe.
Well, how about I'll tell you where I had my first match in front of people. And I always like to tell this story because it's a ridiculous. It's, to me, it was like nothing, but like telling it back, it's like pretty ridiculous. Going back to Mr. Jimmy Smooth, who gave like a lot of people their first shows in front of people. This was outside of a strip club. And it was like a grassy, caged up area where I'm pretty sure like the strippers would leave their children like to play. And they had like enough room to put like a 18 by 18 ring in there and like maybe 30 fans. So that was like my first wrestling. But I was like, this is my first match, and this is going to be crazy. And then you hear, like, you know, shake that ass, hit that ass. And then I remember we were tearing down the ring, and, like, during the show, to, like, post back, there's, like, this fan that came up to me with her yearbook. It was, like, a 8-year-old, 9-year-old girl. I'm like, oh, my God, you don't have friends. But, of course, I'm going to sign your yearbook. You know what I mean? Like, you know, go back to school. And we're tearing down this ring, lumber. You know what I mean? That's because that's the inside and out of it. I don't know if you guys know this. A wrestling ring isn't foam. It's made out of wood, metal, you know, all these crazy things, you know? So we're tearing it down, and then all of a sudden I just hear, like, where's Rico? You know, and I'm thinking, like, oh, thanks, fan. And it's an angry stripper screaming my name. And it's like, don't you touch my daughter again. And she's holding her back. It's like, oh, I'm okay. And then, like, Jimmy goes, like, that's Candace, run. So I immediately like, okay, have a great day. I gotta go. But dude, man, that's just like, that was my first experience into wrestling, and I'm still doing it. There's been ridiculous times. Actually, here in Chicago, around the August time every year, Galley does Taco Fest, where we do, like, I think this year we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday of wrestling right there near the Wrigley Field area, but it's an outdoor show. Oh. And when you think Taco Fest in the Wrigley Field area, you think people eat tacos, right? But a lot of white people just like to drink booze. So we were doing like this, oh man, we finished with like 30 minutes. What do we want to do? And the booker, me, and all these, let's just do a battle royal. We'll just see who wins. We'll just go crazy, no rules. And a fan, like, I was like being the piece of garbage bad guy. I was being like the main bad guy of that show. And there was like these fans that was like, F you, screw you, you know, like, I was like, yeah, come on. They gave our main hero good guy a coconut with, like, you know, they shave out the middle and whatever. And he just handed it, turned around, hit me with it. It was full. What? Oh, dude shit. Threw, like, and it exploded. Like, I don't know why, because it was so, like, washed up with, like, the alcohol and whatever that it kind of made it just like a, you know, it just needed to just crack. I feel like, you know, Lion King, where he was like, you know, Simba. And it just exploded over my head. And like, I was like, that's the highest we're going to get of this. So I took it, boom, flew out of the ring. He won, you know? Yeah. Stuff like that. I'm trying to think of it embarrassing. I've wrestled in like crazy towns. Like recently, I did a show in like Bufu nowhere, northern Illinois, to the point where it's you should just call it Wisconsin. And I was a fill-in. Like a buddy of mine, he like got injured. It was like, oh, can you take my place? I didn't know they had like an ongoing storyline, right? But he's like, so your manager is a guy that thinks he's Colonel Sanders. And the guy you're fighting Colonel Sanders believes he's the one that actually killed OJ's wife.
What the fuck?
And I was like, cool. All right. Let's do it. So we go out there, and he goes like, oh, will I believe this man? And he goes like, well, I was 7, and like just the improv mind is like, and you were 7? You still could have done it. Have you seen Home Alone? You know, like that just came out of my head. And then we had a wrestling match, and he used the glove, and you know what I mean? Like it was like we played around that. That's like embarrassing, but it's just like at the end of it, I just think if it's a good enough story to tell your friends, whatever, was it truly embarrassing? Like I've slipped and fall in wrestling matches where people will be like, haha, stupid. I'll be like, shut up, I meant to do it. You know, I don't really think I don't think I've ever done anything like too embarrassing. Like, you know, I've been able to do shitty shows like that where I pretend I'm wrestling, you know, the true OJ killer, and I've also like been able to be cherished with like being able to wrestle for something like AEW on like their Dynamite, you know. So I just think this, you know, it can do so much when it comes to like wrestling. That's why I thought like your guys' show is super cool, because it's incorporating artists of all kinds, you know, and that's really what wrestling is at the end of the day. It's just art. You know, people are into it. People do it differently. Everybody's a different artist on the canvas, quite literally the canvas of wrestling. Man, I should write this shit down, dude. But yeah, dude, it's super. I don't find anything that I've done in the wrestling business embarrassing at all.
How about highlights? What do you think is the biggest point of your career so far?
I think definitely wrestling for AEW on their main like TV programming on the other side of the ring was the Scissor Gang people. I think they were called the Acclaimed, and Billy Gunn.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was a big fan of Billy Gunn during like the Attitude Era, because that's when I started like really becoming a fan. So that was super cool. When I first became the CSW champ, the first show back, the promoter wanted to find me a good wrestler, like a big whatever, and I got to wrestle Jacob Fatu before he got signed for WWE. Yeah. And that was like one of my favorite highlights. Like me and him, like he is a monster of a man, and we like had just natural chemistry. And that was super cool to now see him. It's like, I know that guy. I've wrestled him. I've like just been able to chill with him. It's like, that's just a dude who gives a shit. It's like, that's cool. And then little things like winning where I got the championship belt at both the promotions that gave me my start. That like is a highlight for me. You know, everything else is just like, you know, seeing my friends who I helped begin train, you know, like win championships and do well. That's also like a moniker for me, because it's like, you know, I like to be selfish at times, but also like everyone should be selfish at times. Like I love seeing people succeed. I love seeing wrestling promotions succeed. I love seeing everybody succeed, because why not?
Yeah.
You're signing up for something to try to be successful in it. I'll be like, hell yeah. Even though we've had like arguments, but you know, I love that wrestling has taken me to places like Las Vegas, Florida, Minnesota, Indiana, Wisconsin. I'm probably thinking of other states. You know, I want to wrestle in Puerto Rico. That's like my next like, you know, tick off that I'd love to get, but I'm so happy with what I've done so far, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you've been in the game for quite some time. You know, where do you want to be 5 years from now?
Well, obviously, a signed wrestler would be great. I think in some capacity where it's like if I could live and still be comfortable at home, pay my bills, and all I'm doing at the end of the day is wrestling, that's the goal, right, at the end of the day. And hopefully my wife makes a lot of money, so she always gives me crap where it's like, you know, if I make a shitload of money, I'm gonna need you to be a house man. It's like, I'm over here like, give me the gown, give me the like, you know, if we're working, I'm changing the diaper, you know, like whatever. You know, if you want to make like $300,000 a year and be like, don't work, tell me what to do.
Let's go. Where
right?
do I sign up?
Mr. Mom, man.
Right. Hey, honey, I'm going to be home at 3 a.m. because I have work at 7. Like 7 p.m. to do a wrestling show? Absolutely. But I think, obviously, that's the goal. Of course, who knows what's going to happen with life. Like on Monday, Memorial Day of all things, I had 2 flat tires.
Damn.
Woof.
What does that happen? Well, how does that happen? no idea. But apparently yesterday they patched it up. How they figured that out, I don't know. Did I expect that to happen? Nope. But I like immediately messaged you guys. I might not be able to. Actually, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So obviously not living with the what ifs. So if something, of course, comes at my plate and I want to take advantage or hit it head on, I'm going to definitely do that. The dream, of course, if I could be a WWE superstar, that'd be freaking sweet. Or anything like that. I think a signed wrestler would be super awesome, but if it doesn't work that way, I'm still gonna. I think I caught the bug, so it's in me like venom.
Passion.
Yeah, it's the passion. It gives me like that artistic thing. I know all of us have that like day to day that helps us get through it, but then we always have that little niche that we always want to express ourselves in some way. I think I found it in wrestling. So,
Oh yeah.
wrestling. That's how I'm going to answer your question. See myself in 5 years wrestling.
Wrestling.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good answer.
We're kind of coming close to the end of the show, but before we end it, last time we had a wrestler on, he demonstrated a wrestling punch on us. Is there a move that you would be comfortable demonstrating?
Well, I can give you a shotgun little slap to the face. I can chop you guys.
I'd rather take a chop.
Okay, all right. Well, I think the chop, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you.
That's fine.
With the shotgun, you'll barely feel it.
I already took a punch to the face last time, so maybe a different body part.
All right, we can chop. I'll chop you.
Let's chop.
But you might have to take off the swag. Just saying, you may have to take off the swag to get that. Yeah,
It's the chop
you
going.
gotta show the chesticles. All right, how are we gonna? Where are we doing this?
Last time we stood right over here.
Okay, you let us know if we're in frame because you can't not miss this.
Yeah.
Now,
All right.
I'm gonna ask you.
I'd say push that chair a little out that way.
So, amigo, there are two types of chops.
Okay.
We have the Ric Flair over here across the chest, or I can give you my favorite, the Lucha chop, where I come all the way across and I go straight down with you.
Okay.
Which do you prefer? Can we get a chance from the audience?
Yeah.
Which one looks better?
Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you guys
So
want to
right
hear.
here, I can go across this way. You tell me how that looks, or I can go over here, straight forward, slam.
Yeah, let's give them all 4 of that.
All 4?
Yeah.
All 4. I only listed 2, but I'll give it to you. All right, here we go. Ready? Prep yourself. Nice and big chest.
Woo!
Did I sell it correctly?
See ya, Jay Smooth.
Yeah. Do you want the other? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dog.
All right.
You took it like a chimp. You want the other one?
Let's do the other one.
God damn. All right, brother.
What a
All
man.
right, breathe with it. Here we go.
Woo!
Ooh.
Bravo. Oh, yeah.
Very good. Well, you took
Thank
it
you,
like
brother.
a champ. Welcome.
Jay
Yeah.
Smooth, how do you
It's
feel
always
from
been
that?
my dream to be a wrestler too.
Really? Well,
Ooh.
you just took 2 big ass chops to the chest, brother. How do you feel?
Now I know I can sign up for your wrestling.
You survived the first 5 seconds. We'll see. I don't know.
It'll probably, once the adrenaline wears,
Yes.
it'll probably hurt tomorrow.
And the nice thing, I put one on this side of his chest and then one on this side because I'm a nice guy. You know?
Aw.
Oh yeah, there it
Spreading
is.
love.
Woo!
Oh, Look at that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I see some bruising going up in there, baby.
I'm telling you, man. When it comes to chops, you got to lay it in there. But like, if you don't, it might hurt. So the fact that they got great sound with it and it like was able to look really devastating, that's a perfect chop right there. So make sure to clip that.
As soon as we're done.
Let us send us a photo of you shirtless later. Let's see if you got a nice little bruise there.
I hope you got the sound because those were loud.
Yeah,
those
we
were
got the
some.
sound.
I don't know if it was
Oh,
the
yeah.
acoustics of the room, but those were. You got a good chop and chest, man. I
I'll
got a
put the
guy.
volume up.
I think I saw the speakers peaking there. That was that was loud.
Love it.
Damn.
Love it.
That was sick.
Thank you, man.
Well, thank you for joining us, man. We got a little bit of time here left. Was there any other projects or anything else that you want to promote?
Oh
before
yeah,
we
well,
wrap up the show?
of course, obviously, all the socials, Axel Rico. I think I'm against like an Ecuadorian singer named Axel Rico, but like lame. So follow me on all the socials. Of course, like if you're in wherever we promote Proving Grounds, or I'm a big fan, just like go to local indie wrestling. I'll be at a bunch of shows at Chicago Style Wrestling, Galley Lucha Libre.
I got a list of them here if you want to read
Oh,
them off.
sure. Yeah. Let's see.
there.
What the hell did I say? Oh, yeah. So this weekend, Crusher Fest, if you guys know a guy named Chris Jericho, he's going to...
we've
Who's
heard
that?
of him.
Yeah. And he's going to be doing his his showcase where he just does Kiss cover band songs.
Oh, no way.
And we're going to be from Sunday to... or Saturday to Sunday doing wrestling because... wrestling. CSW's new season starts. Whoop, whoop. Galley Lucha Libre. Me just being the champ. You know what I mean? You just got to go. Yeah, Proving Grounds and whatever I have coming up. So, yeah, just follow me on the socials. I always promote all my wrestling shows. I'll promote, random videos of people that have made some awesome highlight clips. And, of course, just, be a fan of local wrestling because we're driving to get $20 for a show and trying to keep doing it and making maybe $60 a weekend. You know what I mean? So everything helps, and supporting us through social media or buying our stuff or taking some free swag, helping us. Who was that? Who's this?
Is there a way for folks to get online and buy some of your merchandise too?
I do have a Pro Wrestling Tees site where you can get some of my shirts, but a lot of the stuff that I'm getting more recent, I always have every sizes and stuff at the shows. So I would say there, but of course, Pro Wrestling Tees is a great website to find all the indie shirts and stuff. That's where I have a couple, but I've got always a couple, and I always have a nice story to tell right at the merch table. So, but yeah.
Nice, brother.
Cool.
Well, thank you, man. We really wish you nothing but the best of luck.
Of course.
And, I think we definitely learned a lot today.
Awesome. Happy to.
And I hope all the guests did as well, all the folks tuning in. Are there any last messages you want to send out to the world before we wrap it up?
Of course, like I said before, enjoy indie wrestling. Don't live with what ifs.
Yeah. Perfect.
I love that. It's a good way to end it on, I think.
Sir.
Well, folks, again, go on and check out Axel Rico. Check him out on social media. We're going to have all of his stuff down in the description below. Buy some merch, buy some stuff, share some of his videos.
Yes.
Let him know you're a fan.
Yes.
Just don't send any creepy videos.
Not too many.
Not too many. Some. Within reason. But again, Axel Rico, check out all the stuff down below. And at the end of every show, me and Jay always leave out with a good message. And I think it was just that. Just don't live your life with regrets.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do it now. I was quoting Shel Silverstein to you earlier about Shel Silverstein had a poem called Woulda, Coulda, Shoulda. And it goes, all the woulda, coulda, shoulda, sitting in the sun, talking about the things they woulda, coulda, shoulda done. But all those woulda, coulda, shouldas all ran and hid from one little did. So get out, do it, did it. Go do the thing. Make Shel Silverstein happy. He wrapped your childhood. But no, get out, try something new. Don't live your life with regrets. You're definitely going to miss out on a lot of great opportunities. And better to say you did something and failed than never do it at all and say you never did it. 'Cause that fucking sucks. So go out, do it, live it. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Be there. Nike. Sponsor us. Thank you guys for joining us here at Hawkwind's Radio Picture Show, where again we're coming to you live every Wednesday from Q4 Radio. If you guys like the show, again, please hit like, please hit subscribe. Check out some of our other videos as well. We have plenty of videos from past guests as well. Check it out. Share it with your friends. Share it with your grandma. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Leave us some comments.
Share it with your wife. Share it with your girlfriend. But not at the same time.
It's not the same time. Keep that separate. But thank you guys again for joining us. My name is Jack Dwyer.
And I'm Jay Smooth.
You guys have a